All right, y'all. So let's look at GBPUSD. I am going to start off by identifying my swing lows and swing highs on each time frame. Somebody asked me in another post telling me I needed to make a video to explain why I've skipped over certain swing lows, swing highs. I'm not going to do that here. You need to go to the mini course if you have questions so that you can understand my approach to the market and why I do what I do. So, for those of you guys who are not familiar, my name is Kaci Jackson, and I am a registered commodity trading advisor with the National Futures Association. And I like longer trades, so I'm not a scalper. But what you learn on this channel, you should be able to do on virtually every time frame. I do intraday and swing trades because I got life going on like many of you. And I still want to take advantage and capitalize on the moves of the market. And so I've just found that taking those longer term trades works best for me. And so I have identified a method that allows me to go through, that's not right, go through and analyze higher time frames in order to determine my approach to the market. So I'm taking a look at GBPUSD today. I've already gone through the monthly, and now I'm going to work my way down to the 4 hour. We may go lower. But what I'm doing is identifying the high probability areas where price has the potential to reverse. And so we want to find those areas because that's how we make our money. That's where we take advantage and capitalize on what the market has to offer. For those of you guys who don't follow my channel and don't know my approach, I'm a heavily based Fibonacci trader. And so if you don't know about Fib, again, I would encourage you also to go through the no cost mini course so that you can kind of put the pieces together on what it is that I'm talking about and you'll understand the approach. The approach is what helped me to determine on two videos ago a potential 300 pip sell on Euro USD that a lot of people were not seeing. So that's the approach that we're going to use here as well. So I have done the daily. I'm going to go down to the 4 hour. And we're going to mark off our levels. Once we mark off all the levels, then I'm going to go ahead and find out where we are in the sequence. And I'll do that with my Smart Fibonacci tool. And then we'll go from there. So I believe I have done all of my levels. And so what I'm going to do now is I am going to go down just one more in the time frame because actually no, I'm going to go with my fib and then I'll show you guys why I'm going down to the lower time frame. All right, so now that I've done my levels, y'all see all the lines on my chart. It will make sense to you, I promise. Stick with me till the end of the video and I will walk you through it. But I'm going to grab my Smart Fibonacci tool and I'm going to click below the last low, see where we are in the fib sequence. So in the event that price is moving to the upside, theoretically, we would anticipate price to take profit with a red level because it hit a red level. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to turn this green, turn it to my take profit signal. But what I do see here, excuse me, is that price had a lot of momentum over the last couple of years, with the US dollar being weaker than the Great British Pound. And so we've pushed and barely made a retracement. So a lot of times when we see that happen, we typically see price come back and at least touch the 38.2. It could also hit the 50 or the 61.8, but we at least wanted to see or at least touch the 38.2 before making a continuation and finishing out the sequence. Now, this is on the monthly chart. Each candle represents a month worth of price action. And so this doesn't tell me much for the right here and right now. So I'm going to go down to the lower time frame, and I'm also going to deploy my fib tool so that I could see what's going on. And I'm looking at this last fib, and I see that we hit a D extension back in September of this year. And so what price is doing looks to be retracing, but I want to take a look at price from the other side because we hit the extension already, right? And we also know that we want to see price come back for a deeper retracement. Additionally, when I draw my trend line, we broken a trend line on a high time frame. And so my bias right now is going to be to the downside. Now, if I wanted to check and make sure that I've drawn that trend line correctly, I would click below the last low and you'll see that dark black bar that is drawn. It's right. So I'm going to move down to the lower time frame, which is going to be the daily. And now I'm going to look at my fib to the downside. So I am going to drop my fib above the last high. This is the current active sequence that we're in. A, B. We hit, or did we hit the 38 too? Let me see. 128220. 12810. Oh, but we did hit the 38 too. This is the 50. So theoretically, the take profit is below weekly and daily support, just above monthly support at 123 and some change. We'll call it 12323. So this doesn't do much for you right now, right? You know that price has the potential to move to the downside another 270 pips, let's call it. But how do you get in and how do you take advantage of what the market has to offer now? And I am on the wrong time frame. Hold on. I have no idea how I got to the 8-hour. Let me go back because this is going to change the fib. All right, so I went down to the 4-hour. Let me click below. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, so this doesn't tell me much, right? None of these are active. So I need to go above the last high. And actually, let me go up. I apologize. Let me go to the weekly. I don't know if we're going to be able to get a fib here on the weekly. But we did. So we have a B boundary. So price is searching for a C on the higher time frame. So this is the weekly. I'm going to go down to the daily. And then I'm going to drop my fib. All right. So here we go. Let me move this down. So here's the setup. The setup is on the daily. So we had this fib that played out. So we had A, B, we had barely a 236 pullback, and price hit the D extension. And so now our old C becomes our new A, and we have an A, B. Looks like we have a C that also formed daily resistance. And so our D extension is at 121064. And so we know that price, if it is to pass through weekly support, daily support, and also monthly support, that we're about 470 pips away from the potential target. So we need to know, how do we take advantage of what has happened, right? Because we missed the major entry off of the major time frame. And so we have to drill down to the lower time frame to be able to tell how to potentially get into this move. All right, so I've gone down to the 4-hour. We already deployed from above, and we know that we have to deploy from the next high. And let me do that again. All right. So this is the active fib. And we see price pull back and form the 4-hour level of resistance, hit the 618. And so the target for this leg is here at 12480, which is right at weekly support. So I want to drill down even further because I want to figure out, like, prices dropped. So I know it's got to retrace. And looking at the chart on the 4-hour, I see that this is a level of support where price may retrace to. So theoretically, what I would like to see is I would like to see price push back to this level and then finish out the sequence here, right? And so if we get that move, if price forms a level of resistance here, that is potentially 172 pips. That could be up for grabs. So let me get rid of this. I'm going to drill down even further though, because I don't want to wait that long. I want to see if I have something that's available for me to get into right now. So I'm going to grab my smart fib tool and I'm going to click above the last high. That doesn't tell me much except we hit a D extension. And so let me see what we potentially get. Did I deploy this right? Let me go back. Hold on. Yep, I believe I did. So I'm going to drill down even further. Yeah. I'm going to click above the last high. All right. So on the 30-minute chart, we can get even more granular, right? And so on the higher time frame, I said I was waiting for price to pull back to this level. Now, before I even deployed a fib, I could just see structure. I could just see that that was a major level of structure. And as you see, my entry point aligns with the 618 pullback level of this smaller fib. But what I see as a potential play as well is the potential. We may or may not get it. I'll watch it. I'm more interested in the continuation on the sell. But you see here that price had so much momentum. And remember, I said a lot of times we'll see price continue to push down, but then we like to see it come up at least to the 38 too. So I would not be surprised if we saw something of the sort. And let me straighten this out. I gotta make this look a little better. Uh-oh, I can't get it. Oh, there we go. I would not be surprised. Just looking at structure, looking at support and resistance, if we saw price push down to this 1.253 level, and it could even push down further, uh, you know, to this 1250, or we may even see it push down to this weekly level at 12489. Now, if it does that on the higher time frame, then that completes the sequence, right? But if it doesn't, then we could see price push up and form a level of support, come back to at least the 38.2. Looking at structure, I would not be surprised if we went up to 126 and then finish out the play for the move to the downside. So to the upside, we could see at least 136 pips. And then to the downside, for that shorter leg, we could see 175 pips. But then you got to remember that the big picture is on, it wasn't the 4-hour, or was it? Or was it? Hold on. You got to remember the big picture and the fact that we broke into the downside on a higher time frame. So my bias is going to be looking for sales. So that was on the daily, I believe. So let me go to the daily. Let's see. Uh-oh. Okay. So you see on the daily that the overall target is at 121.064. So even though we might catch an entry at 126, you could potentially swing this out for those of you who like to swing trade for about just under 600 pips or so. So those are my thoughts on GU. Let me know what you think. We do have some key levels in between there, 1229. Then you got 1244. And then you also, well, there's a monthly resist or monthly support after the whole take profit on the daily chart. So let me know what y'all think. In this video, what I have done is I have shown you the higher time frame move and how to potentially enter on the lower time frame to potentially ride it out. So actually there's two potential opportunities in one. Remember, you could potentially trade the reversal if we get price to find that level of support before finishing out the fib sequence, the one we saw on the 30-minute chart, this one right here, right? Where if we, I'm messing up. Where if we get price to push down and not finish that sequence, we could see a push up and then a continuation. But there's potentially just under 600 pips on the table for the entire move. Let me know what you think about GBP USD. How are you approaching this? And if you were fortunate enough to catch the sale that happened today right after FOMC and that long move down 150 pips. All right. So if I don't talk to y'all before the holiday, happy holidays to you and your families. I hope you guys have a great time celebrating. Stay safe, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.